I've asked Hisao to help with this review because he's a bit older than me, and this is a game that he remembers from back when it first burst out onto the scene, so I'll chip in towards the end. But over to you, Hisao.
Hey everyone, great to be back. Heiankyo Alien is indeed a bit of a classic game in Japan, first released in 1979 as a game devised at the University of Tokyo's Theoretical Science Group and later picked up by Denki Onkyo for official distribution as an arcade game. Heiankyo Alien is rumoured to have inspired Namco's Pacman and Space Panic from Universal, which in turn influenced the later development of Lode Runner. And in 1987, Nihon Busan, or Nichibutsu as they commonly refer to themselves as, released the amusingly named Booby Kids.
Did you just say tits?
For the Famicom. This was ported by Hudson Soft to the PC Engine as a Doraemon licensed game, Meikyuu Daisakusen, released as Cratemaze in North America for the TurboGrafx-16. In 1990, Meldak released another version with both an homage to the original and a remake, and in 1995, Nichibutsu released Heiankyo Alien for their second and last installment in their Super Famicom Arcade Classics series. Notably, it contains the only game that I know of that works in Tate, or vertical screen mode, to replicate the arcade experience on the Super Famicom. The game's title comes from the Heian period of Japan, which existed from 794 to 1185, which saw the Japanese capital move once again to Heiankyo, or what we would call modern-day Kyoto. In Heiankyo Alien, you play as a member of the police, tasked with dealing with an alien invasion. Armed with your shovel, you need to dig pits in the ground to trap the aliens and then cover the holes back over when you do so to kill them. If the hole isn't completed when an alien crosses it, the aliens momentarily pause in their tracks before freeing themselves again. Likewise, if you don't cover over the hole in time that they have fallen into, they will break free. If an alien makes contact with you, you lose their life. It's really that simple. This release from Nichibutsu thankfully provides a number of enhancements and additional bonuses. Available to play is the original arcade game presented in both 1 and 2 player options. This mode is faithful enough to the arcade with a very Spartan graphic and sound style, and is realistically these days more of a historical curiosity rather than something that is likely to engage for hours and days on end, but is well done, including a high score mode and something really special. This is the only game that I know of on the Super Famicom to support Tate or vertical orientation. By setting the screen mode to type C or D, you can turn your TV or rotate your screen anti-clockwise and play with a controller in standard orientation to play the original arcade game as it should be experienced. The maze is no longer squished and it's quite the trip seeing this. In addition, the new type mode features enhanced graphics, sound, power-ups and power-downs to enhance the gameplay experience, and again, a 2-player option. Sadly, the new type game is not available in Tate. That would have been a real eye-opener if it had. The new type game plays similarly in the trapping and burying mechanic of the original game, but the maze this time resembles a Bomberman scene, as some blocks are destructible. Every 5 stages as the game ups the difficulty, you will see more aliens and so forth, and this also brings slightly different graphics to the mix. It's good enough looking, and the sound is much improved, but not a patch on Meldak's Game Boy release, which has an astonishingly good soundtrack.
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
There are pickups to speed you up and slow you down in both your movement and digging speed, as well as extra lives. Occasionally you'll trigger new enemy drops as well as new wooden destructible blocks to fall. This is all good stuff to have added, but the new type version lacks any score, so that is a small knock in my book. Some of the wooden blocks will give you these power-ups or penalties if you destroy them, and likewise some spots in the ground will reveal them, as will occasionally killing an alien when you cover them over. Beyond that, the gameplay never really evolves and remains the same from stage 1 onwards. Sure, the amount of aliens increases, but if you're unlucky you could trigger a number of alien drops in stage 1 and find yourself facing quite an onslaught right from the off. The trick is not to knock through too many wooden blocks, though I do appreciate the risk and reward mechanic here. In the new type's 2-player mode, the screen is split. When a player traps an alien and covers them over successfully, then a new alien is dropped on the opponent's screen. The player that survives not being caught by an alien or kills all of theirs first wins, and then the gameplay loops. There is no progressive development of the gameplay loop here, sadly, making 2-player games a slightly shallow experience. This ain't Bomberman 94, that's for sure. Perhaps my biggest nitpick are the aliens themselves. They never deviate from their random wandering behaviour, and there is no variety in the type that I've encountered. They all bumble along at random, unlike the ghosts in Pacman that had their own peculiar behaviour, and it just adds to the "I've played enough of this for now" vibe. I also encountered what may have been a few bugs in the new type version. Whether it's our copy or not, I'm not sure, but we don't have any issues with any other game, and the cartridge's contacts have all been cleaned up with cleaning alcohol. First, occasionally between stages the stage number doesn't flash up, not a big deal, and at least once, when advancing into a new stage, there was no sound present. Again, not a major thing. And last, perhaps most frustrating, is the crash that we experienced on completing a stage when the screen got stuck on black. I'll hand back over to Saki now for the final judgment on this one.
Wow, Hisao, bring in the facts. I played this one quite a bit and I enjoyed a Game Boy release as well as Doraemon Meikyuu Daisakusen on a PC Engine, but this is what I would call a historically interesting release for the Super Famicom, replicating the arcade, having a Tate mode and a new type version, but as a game, re-rate it as fair or 2 stars out of 5. More could have been done by Nichibutsu to amp up the fun further still. Japanese language-wise, well, the game is a mix of Japanese and English, but we would rate this as no Japanese, as the main options are all in English. I provided an explanation of the options on this review's companion Patreon page, which you can get access to via the video description. So what we have here is, as I said, a historically interesting game, but not much more than that. Where did you find this game, Hisao, by the way?
Now let me think. I think this was in Suzuka in Mie Prefecture. Gosh, wow, 3 years or so ago now. I paid about 300 yen for it from memory, and it's good for that as a loose cart, and that's all I would pay for it these days as well. But I've noticed that this is a game that's reaching 5,000 yen or so complete in box these days.
Wow. I have to say though that I really like rad box and label art. Makes you think of the Santa Cruz typeface when written using katakana.
And did you notice how the maze of the original arcade is in the background of the artwork?
Wait, oh, so it is. I just thought that was a rad green and blue design. Yeah, cool art style, but it's still a fair game at best.
Can't say fairer than that.
As always, like, subscribe and all of that shit, and also check out this rad Rubbish Heap merch, available worldwide on Redbubble and Amazon. See the links below for how to purchase. I've been Saki Endo, and this has been a Rubbish Heap. Ja ne ne!